It was a cold, blustery evening at Knapford Station, so Topham had to close the railway early due to the bad weather. The engines and ponies were waiting for the signal in Knapford to return to Tidmouth Sheds. Maybe one of us should tell us a story to pass the time. That's a good idea, Thomas. Why didn't I think of that before? Does anyone have any stories to tell us? I do. Want to hear it? Go for it, James, if you think you're so good. And this was the story that James told. A long time ago, there was a brave little blue engine who was always eager to help. He was a hard worker and very determined. One evening, the little blue engine was at the station. Blue engine, can you go to the other end of the line and pick up a coach that was left behind?
Yes, sir. I will.
So the little blue engine puffed into the fog. But as it got dark and the little blue engine reached the other end of the tracks, the fog was so thick he couldn't see anything.
I'll just have to wait until morning. Then I can carry on.
So he settled for the night in an old abandoned shed, just for the night. But late that night, the little blue engine woke up to a noise coming from below the shed. He opened his eyes and saw long pointy fingers reaching for him through the floorboards. It could only mean one thing.
Ah! There's a monster under the shed!
And the little terrified blue engine raced out of the shed and into the fog, with a horrible engine-eating monster chasing after him. Everyone was silent. Everyone was still. What happened next, James? My dear Fluttershy, that's where the story ends. No one ever heard from that little blue engine ever again. But what about the monster? Oh, don't be silly, Percy. It's just a story. But what if the story is true? What if the monster's out there right now? Don't worry, Percy. There's no such things as ghosts or monsters. But Percy didn't even seem to listen or care, and he and the others went back to the sheds for the night. At the sheds, all the engines and ponies were asleep. All except Rainbow Dash, though. She was going to play a trick on Percy. She returned with a truck full of scrap metal and rammed it very hard. This woke everyone up. Rainbow couldn't stop laughing, and Percy felt foolish. It's okay, Percy. My story was just pretend. That night, however, while Rainbow was sleeping, she began to hear a noise outside. Oh, stop it, Percy. I'm not going to fall for your trick. But Percy and the others were asleep. Rainbow Dash became concerned. Maybe there is a monster out here. So she stayed awake all night just to make sure. She felt very exhausted when she brought Gordon and the express to the station the next morning. Gordon, did Percy hear anything else in his shed last night? Not after your silly prank, Rainbow Dash. Now, Dashy felt very silly for staying awake all night. When it was break time, Rainbow was able to catch up on some sleep in the sidings with Gordon. But when Henry arrived to collect the express, he accidentally hit the coaches too hard. Henry was so surprised by Rainbow's yelp that he shot forward and ran right into a freight car, knocking him in itself off the tracks. You were able to frighten Henry a good job, Rainbow. Just then, James popped by. What is it, Rainbow? Did my story keep you awake last night? That evening, when Gordon returned to the sheds, Rainbow Dash went to bed right away while the others told stories again. She was also too exhausted to think anyway. That night, Rainbow still couldn't sleep. She was afraid of the monster she thought was looking around Gordon's shed. Rainbow was scared. Even behind Gordon's cab, she still felt like she was in danger. Just then the doors on Gordon's shed began to rattle on their hinges. Gordon, he's trying to get in. Wake up, please. Just then the banging stopped. Rainbow looked out, and there she just saw Opal the cat.
Wow.
Rainbow had never felt so relieved in her life before. Percy has a good imagination, but I think yours is better, Rainbow. Yeah, it's the only thing in the world that can turn a cute little cat like Opal into a big scary monster from James's story. Rainbow felt much better, and she and her friends were asleep too.